Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of the Heron's Haven podcast here on the SoFlo Soccer channel. This is your host, Matt, and you know, long time season ticket member since 2020. Been going to every single home game for Inter Miami from pretty much the day founded. And yes, we have a lot to discuss today. Essentially, obviously, we have to talk about Inter Miami. Oh, wait, I just realized my light isn't on. That's a little awkward. Okay. We have a lot to discuss today. Um, Obviously, we have the game tomorrow against St. Louis City FC at Drive Pink Stadium, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And doubleheader this week, double home game. And so we have a lot to talk about. This is also the last game that Messi will be playing for Inter Miami before he leaves for Argentina for the Copa America. Uh, and so we'll talk a little bit about that. And yeah, and obviously we're going to talk about the upcoming game. We'll do a little bit of a scouting report for St. Louis City. And then we'll do the predicted starting 11. We'll do a predicted score. And then, that will be the podcast, 20 to 30 minutes, like how it is regularly. So, without further ado, let's get straight into it. So, first, let's talk about a little bit about what happened last time out. Okay, just like a brief summary of what we talked about last night. On Wednesday night, I was very, very emotional. Disappointing defeat, suffering that inexcusable loss at home against Atlanta United 3-1. Messi did end up scoring, which is great for him. Sure, great for the brand, but result wise, really bad for us, right? Really, really bad for us. We did not play well, in my opinion, in terms of some people say that the defending wasn't that bad. People say that we didn't do as horribly as I expressed that we did on Wednesday. But honestly, in my opinion, I thought compared to literally the last month or the last couple weeks that we've been playing, has by far been the worst that we've been playing in, like, comparing it to our recent form. And that was defensively, that was in the midfield, and even in the attack, we were looking really, really rough. I mean, St. Louis defenders had our attackers in their back pocket. The midfield was just completely overwhelmed by by Atlanta players, sorry. And yeah, and our defense, there was just a lot of defensive errors in terms of, especially Aviles, in my opinion. I was giving Aviles a lot of hate and criticism on Wednesday, and I kind of stand by it. I'm still going to stand by it because I really thought we should be expecting more from Aviles as the most expensive center back in MLS. We should be expecting a lot from Aviles. I know he's young, and I know even though he's played in Argentina, I just still expect a lot from him because he's not a bad center back. He's not a bad center back at all. Kristoff was our best center back last night, or Wednesday night, I should say, and it was, for some reason, I was getting a phone call. We're just gonna leave that there. And yeah, Drake Callender, there's nothing against Drake Callender. He did what he had to do. He made the saves that he had to. He just had a really rough back four in front of him. So we did end up dropping the 3 points. Our first loss in 10 games, I'm pretty sure it was, and snapping that streak. So anyways, but that's in the past. We need to focus on what's happening this Saturday. But yeah, this Saturday, like I said previously, is going to be the last game that Messi will be playing for Inter Miami before he leaves for the Copa America this summer. And that's going to mean a couple things, right? There's obviously, when Messi was out for that brief period of time during that like a Monterrey CONCACAF Champions Cup run, he was gone for a couple of games, right? So, and then with that, we've been in a poor run of form. Like during that time frame, we were hitting a rough patch, poor run of form. We were getting a lot of just criticism from everybody, a lot of hate from everybody, reporters, fans. other people like that from other supporting other teams just hating on us. We were just receiving a lot of hate because they keep saying that Messi is the only reason that Inter Miami win games. And whether that is true in some scenarios or not, it's no undeniably a fact that Messi is a huge contributing factor to our success and our victories. And he was the one that scored on Wednesday, but he has 11 goals in 9 games. 11 no, he has 11 goals, 9 assists in 10 games. I'm pretty sure that he's played. Like he's had so many goal contributions. Like every time that he steps on the field, he has a massive, massive, massive impact on this team. So we're gonna go through another period where we don't have Messi. Now, that schedule, I've been looking at the schedule there, and even though we will have pretty much everybody at the club, unless Suarez decides to leave for Uruguay. Well, not that if he decides, if he's selected, because Uruguay won't be releasing their, like they're not supposed, or they don't have to release their squad for the Copa America until I believe it's June 6th. It's like sometime like second week of June, I'm pretty sure, or just a couple of days into June. So they don't have to release anything until that time to keep everybody, surprised and just uninformed. And so yeah, but other than that, we're only gonna be losing Messi. We'll be losing Cremachi, but for the Olympics, for the U23 Olympics, um, I say the U23 squad, the U23 squad that will be competing for the Olympics. So yeah, we'll be losing Cremachi in the Olympics, but that is not going to be until July, like mid-July, and by that time Messi will be back. So it won't be like too big of an issue, honestly. But yeah, so from to the knowledge that we know today, we don't. It's just Messi, honestly, that's leaving for Copa America and for any international duty. And now, what does that mean essentially for Inter Miami? Well, will we still be performing, well? Will we still be winning? Will we win any games this month? I really hope so. But I want to say yes, because even though that this team does significantly well with Messi in the squad, at the same time, this is still such a very, very strong squad on paper. Like the fact that we we have, if we keep Luis Suarez, we have Luis Suarez, we have Robert Taylor, we have Matias Rojas, we have Redondo and Busquets, we have Jordi Alba. We have so many good players that we should be getting results and we should be performing regardless if Messi's in the squad or not. And if Suarez is not here, we still have Campana. I think Campana is still a quality striker that is still not being used correctly or just used properly. Suarez had a very, very shocking game last game. I wanted Campana to come in so bad. I wanted him to start originally. And the fact that he received very little game time, and the fact that he didn't even come off for Suarez was a joke. I know that Suarez is the type of player where he's very unpredictable. Like you have no idea when he's going to score. You have no idea when he's going to show up. But like at the same time, it's like, are you really going to risk the 90 minutes just to see if Suarez might pop up? Where Campana, on the other hand, will give us 100%. I'm not saying that Suarez is not, but the point that I'm trying to make is that we have a quality team on paper, and that we should be doing performances. Even though we won't have Freire in the defense, we'll still have Kritsov. We'll have Noah Allen in the back there. We still have Sailor. So we have that depth. We could be doing really, really well. So the potential for us getting results and getting the wins this summer, or at least for the month of June, is very, very high. So in this month of June, we have June 15th, we're playing away against Philly. Wednesday, June 19th, we're playing against Columbus. June 29th, we're playing away against Nashville. And then July 3rd, we have Charlotte. July 6th, we have Cincinnati. And then we have Toronto July 17th. And I'm pretty sure like the Copa America will be ending around there. So it's a lot of games. Cincinnati's the biggest game, right? Cincinnati away is the biggest game on that list. Nashville is a sleeper, right? Obviously, we have that beef with Nashville. We have a couple of big games coming up, man. Even the Columbus, even Charlotte, like the games like this, Philly away. It's very these games are very, very, very dangerous. So we're gonna have a rough summer if these guys don't step it up without Messi. Honestly, if we can avoid a loss at all costs, I mean, we don't even have to win every game, but if we can avoid a loss, especially on the away games, we have 4 out of our next 5 games are away. That's a lot of away games, guys. That's a lot of traveling. That's a lot of home game advantage for the oppositions. It's gonna be really really tough, and without Messi, it's gonna be even tougher. So, but I still have confidence in the boys that they can do it. I believe in Campana. I believe in Robert Taylor. I believe in Redondo. I believe in Busi. I believe in Matias Rojas. I believe in all of these guys. I believe in Gressel. I believe in every single one of them that they can put out the performance that they need. I believe that somebody will be stepping up, not to like replace Messi, but to be the leader, whether that's Drake Calendar, whether that's Gressel, whether that's Boosie, somebody's going to be stepping up, especially whether that's Matias Rojas who will be stepping up in that attacking role. But I know somebody will, and I have zero doubt about it. But yeah, Messi's going to be leaving. It's going to be a huge knock to the Inter Miami squad. But I think at the end of the day, we should be fine. We should be continuing to do what we've been doing, as long as Tata Martino doesn't make any stupid decisions and stupid tactical decisions that we have seen in the past. I think we should be fine. Speaking of tactical decisions, I'll talk about that very, very briefly, and then we'll talk a little bit about St. Louis. But for like, I feel like in Tata's tactical decisions from Wednesday night, I think were very, very questionable. I think a lot of us could agree on that. Whether that was his decisions, whether that was the team, it was just non-existent. There was just absolutely no changes being done throughout the game to just adapt to the style of play that Atlanta were bringing to the table. I mean, even Kritsov admitted it in his interview that night that they were playing defensive football. Atlanta were playing defensive football, and they Inter Miami were just trying to constantly penetrate that defense, and then all Atlanta were doing were just hitting them counters, and it worked, and it absolutely worked. And I spoke a little bit about it on Wednesday. Inter Miami have to be better at adapting to those situations because everybody is going to be playing like that. Everybody is going to be playing like how Atlanta were playing, or at least most clubs will be playing in that method. We faced it before. This is not the first time that we faced a team where we get hit with just 7, 8 players in their own penalty area on defense, and then we're just trying to penetrate the midfield. It's been happening almost all season. And the fact that we still haven't figured out a solution to this is very, very concerning. The fact that Tata hasn't really, I mean, like, yeah, we've been on that 10-game unbeaten run or whatever, but to get smacked at home by the same tactic and the same formation that we've been facing almost the entire season, it's just like, what happened? What happened on Wednesday that hasn't happened in every other game? I mean, yeah, the players were just completely turned off. They didn't clock in. We're going to hope for a different outcome this Saturday. So against St. Louis City, they are pretty low in their respective table. They are, I believe it's 11th. Yeah, 11th place, 14 games played, 3 wins, 7 draws, 4 losses. They've in their last 5, they've won only once. They lost 3, they tied once. So yeah, they just recently got their 3rd win in the league, guys. They just recently got their 3rd win in the league. We cannot give them their 4th, right? We can't do what we did to Atlanta. We can't. We gave Atlanta their 4th win of the season. I think it was their first like actual win in like 9 league games or something like that. It was like a really, really long time. We can't do that to St. Louis. Okay, speaking of St. Louis, let's talk a little bit about them, right? So the history between St. Louis and Miami, they only faced once in the history, earning a 3-0 win at City Park, and that was last season. So they had a really comfortable win last time out, and that was at their home. This time they're coming to us. They're still gonna have that confidence in them. Obviously, beating us last time, still having a fairly strong team on paper, even though they're not really performing that well compared to an amazing season last season. Um, it's still gonna be a very, very difficult game. They are one of the most threatening attacking teams. They have a lot of shots on target. They lead, I believe, or they're one of the leaders in shots attempt. Um, yes, St. Louis has tallied the fifth most shots attempt, 238 in the league, and has conceded the least number of shots on target in the league with 51. And they have recorded more shots and shots on target than an opponent in 9 of 14 MLS matches this season. So what does that mean for us, for Inter Miami? We're going to get attacked hard. We're going to get attacked heavy. We're going to get pressured heavy. They're just going to be ripping shots and just either praying for the best, but they're just going to be ripping shots. And what's scary is that they concede they concede the least number of shots on target. That should be scary for us. That should be worrying for us. What does that mean? That means we need to be more clinical in front of goal. We need to actually put our chances away. On Wednesday, we were just not connecting passes. That final pass would kill us every single freaking time. Either we have to just shoot more often or actually connect that final pass so we can be more threatening in front of goal. We cannot allow any opportunity we have to find a way to suffocate St. Louis to the point where we can't just be allowing them to rip shots all game. Whether that's playing a more compact midfield, playing in a more compact midfield, playing in a more defensive formation. I mean, like playing a more defensive tactic and mentality at home is never really you really shouldn't be doing that because it's your home crowd. You should be more comfortable. You should be playing more attacking and possession type football. I feel like, they could. St. Louis could completely change the game, right? Especially being away from home, they could switch to a defensive sort of tactic, and they'd be like, "Hey, we're away from home. We're away from home. These guys are the favorites. They're gonna have Messi, Suarez, Busi. I don't know if they're gonna be intimidated by that. Probably not. But they could easily switch to that defensive formation, hit the counterattacks, and then boom, they'll just walk away with another win. But yeah, I don't know. But at the same time, because at the same time, they could, like I said, they could switch to that because their away record hasn't been the best. This will be, if they do win on Saturday, it'll be their first away win of the season. They are currently 0-2-4 on the road this season, which is really, 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 really bad. But against Eastern Conference teams, they are 6-4-1 all time. So they do really, really well against Eastern Conference teams. Yeah. 2-1. They have a 2-1-1 record against the Eastern Conference team with victories over Chicago Fire 3-1, NYCFC 2-0 earlier in the season. And they have scored 10 goals in 6 away matches this season, earning at least a point in 4 of those contests. So, yeah, they've tied 4. They haven't won away, but they're tying 4 games. They're tying in the last 6 games, they tied 4. So they can easily walk away with a draw here. That's not what we want. We cannot settle for a draw because I feel like that's what they're going to be settling for. If they're going to be playing in that mentality where they know their away record is not good, or maybe they know we've been shaky and they switch to that defensive mentality, defensive formation, they could be just settling for a draw, anything for a draw. Obviously, they're probably going to look for the win at some point, but they're going to try to suffocate us as much as possible, not to give us any attacking opportunities. And then if they can, or if they see that we are being more dominant, they will try to just seek out the draw. And we cannot let that happen at all. Anyways, yeah. So we should be going to a predicted 11. I mean, we also will be facing our former Inter Miami player, Indiana Vassilev. He was in my opinion, this is my opinion, right? I thought he was a great player for us. I was really, really upset to see him leave. But honestly, he's been doing okay, I think, over there and at St. Louis. I think, at least for this season. I'm pretty sure last season he had like a really great season. But I thought Indiana Vassilev was a really great player for us. facing up against them again, he'll probably be wanting to score. Honestly, he'll probably be wanting to score. I don't know how he'll act. I don't know if it's the same, honestly, when it comes to that type of thing. Like, in Europe, when you face your former club, like, you do, like, you signal respect and things like that. If Vassilev does end up scoring, I don't know if he will be doing that. I don't know really what the code of ethics is really for that type of thing here in the United States. Probably, I mean, like, I don't expect him to, honestly, especially when I feel, because I feel like personally, like, when you get traded, right? Like, in my opinion, this is in America. This is like sports in America. When you get traded to another team, like, I feel like that's just like insanely more disrespectful than when, like, you get transferred to another team, like in Europe, or like when you say to your club, "Oh yeah, like, put me on the transfer list. I want to leave." Or like, I feel like it's just insanely more disrespectful to be like, "Okay, yeah, no, we drafted you to, or you just got traded to St. Louis City." I'm like, dude, what? It's like, I feel like it's more hurtful. So I honestly wouldn't be mad that if Vassilev, like, were to celebrate and whatever and not show his respect. A lot of people find that, have different opinions on that. I honestly don't care. Honestly, I'd be like, yeah, I mean, like, I'd do the same if I got traded to another team. Like, and if I didn't even want to get traded, then yeah, no, absolutely, I'd expect that. But let's take a look. Let's see what a starting 11 would be. I had a starting 11 going into this, but I feel like after, like, thinking about last game a little bit more, I think it could be changing a little bit, right? I mean, I was gonna say that Redondo was gonna hit the bench and Kremashi was gonna take his place again. I don't know if that's the case though, because I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think like Tata, right? Because Tata could be thinking, okay, that wasn't a bad game from Redondo. He just got back from injury. I can't be too hard on him. We're gonna give him another chance. So honestly, Redondo might start again. Redondo might start again in the midfield. But let's talk about the defense first. Well, let's start from the bottom up, right? So in goal, we have Jake Calendar. In the back four, Jordi Alba, Kritsov, Aviles, and Chelo. As much as, not that as much as, but I feel like Sailor should be getting some game time, whether that's off the bench. I don't, maybe he won't start, but I feel like he has to come off the bench at some point for Aviles, especially when Aviles tends to lose his head sometimes. Like, he got a stupid yellow card last game just for whatever. Like, it wasn't even a tactical foul. Like, there was no threat to that buildup. He just wanted to release his anger and push that Atlanta player for some reason. I forget who the Atlanta player was, but regardless. So yeah, I mean, I definitely see Sailor getting some game time off the bench. In the midfield, I was gonna go with Benka, Busquets, and maybe either Ruiz or Rojas. And I say that, and I'm debating on whether Gressel will be benched because his workload has been like through the roof. Absolutely through the roof. This guy has been playing every single game, and I don't know, like, when he'll be getting a rest, if he will get a rest. But I feel like it's him and Busquets have been playing every single game in the midfield. I don't remember the last time Dressel has actually gotten benched. So this could be the game that Gressel does get benched. Not because he's been performing bad, but just to give him some rest. Either that or he'll start, maybe play of 45 minutes and then he'll come off. Because he got subbed off, I believe, in the 57th minute last time, or on Wednesday. So maybe he got subbed off. Obviously, maybe due to the performance that he put on the field, but also maybe just to rest him for this game for St. Louis. Um, I think I would say that I was gonna go with Gramashi to start, but I feel like Tata Martino is going to give Redondo another chance. So for the midfield three, I'm gonna go with Redondo, Busquets, and Gressel. I was gonna change it. I was gonna take out Gressel and maybe put like a Matias Rojas, because honestly, if Matias Rojas were to start in the midfield with Messi and Suarez and Taylor, and with like Busquets and whatever, and even like Redondo or even like a Ruiz, like Ruiz and Busquets would be the double pivot, Or I mean, even with Redondo and Busquets, let's just say Redondo and Busquets. Redondo and Busquets would be the double pivot, and they would play like a 4-2, like a 3-1 kind of formation with Rojas in the cam, and then they could put Robert Taylor and Messi out wide with Suarez up top. It's just a 4-2-3-1 on the attack. And then even from there, like like when Bushi sits back there, like being the little, like, what do you call it? The little pendulum that he is. Redondo can be a little bit of like a Metsala, or like I don't know, just a little bit more attacking, like a Benka role. Like that's why I'm saying that Benka could easily play that, but because he isn't more of an attacking player. But yeah, no, I think Russell. So that's why I think Matias Rojas and Redondo would be a pretty good start, even though like you would ideally want Rojas to be subbed in. I don't think you should be subbing him in. I feel like you should be giving him a start. I feel like you should be starting him in that midfield, in that right center mid role, and then have him switch to the cam position. Or if Messi drops it deep into the midfield, have Rojas go out wide, and then it's still the same thing. You still have the double pivot for Redondo and Busi. Then you'll have Messi in the midfield as well, with Suarez as the striker, and then obviously Robert Taylor, and then Rojas would be out wide. So it's like I think that'd be good, because that's essentially what Gressel has been doing. He'll go wide, when he needs to be, when Messi drops in deep. But I think with Rojas' case, Rojas can play both cam and wing. So even though I think he prefers that left side, um, I don't know. I think it's not a bad option, but we'll keep. I think I'm trying to think like that, and I think Russell will probably get to start with Busi and Redondo in the midfield. For the front three, I think Robert Taylor keeps his starting position. There's nobody really, I feel like, unless Matias Rojas does start in that role. I also was thinking about that. Like Matias Rojas could be starting for Robert Taylor, but honestly, I don't think Robert Taylor has like performed badly to get him benched. Um, I think that he'll keep his starting role. Up top, I think Campana needs to start, guys. Honestly, like I can't say it enough. Suarez needs to hit the bench for a game, or just come off the bench, or play a half. I cannot see this guy play another 90 minutes. I mean, like he has his games, right? He has his good days, he has his bad days. I feel like, especially after yesterday, he can't be playing a full 90 again. I mean, like, I don't know, man. I mean, like I said, he's a wild card. He's very unpredictable. You never know what you can get from him. But I think Campana deserves a start, and he proved that when we played away against Vancouver. And when he's been coming off the bench, he's been very, very useful. He's very, very impactful. I mean, if Campana doesn't get the start, I need him to play at least the entirety of the second half. I need him to play the entirety of the second half. I can't see Suarez put the performance that he put out last time out and like find that acceptable. It's not. It's really, really not, because the entire game he's just complaining. He's just like yelling at the referee. He's yelling at like players. I know he's a very emotional, he's a very passionate player, but that's all he's doing. He's not like, I feel like he's doing more yelling and showing passion and emotion. He's doing more of that than actually playing the ball and like scoring and getting into position. So I feel like Campana could be more mobile. Suarez is very like, oh yeah, if this run doesn't work, I'm gonna just give up and regroup and try something else. I feel like Campana is just always moving. He could definitely be he could be more active in his role. He could definitely play as like a target forward, with even Messi as like Messi or Rojas, whoever ends up being in that position, just as an inside or as a shadow striker. Or Robert Taylor could play that inside forward. I don't know. I feel like Campana needs to start. I feel like Campana needs to start, and I'm a die on that hill. Campana just needs to start more games over Suarez, and Suarez has proven me wrong time and time again. But I think there has to be a point where he needs to be benched because Campana deserves it, and I think he does. So Messi's gonna keep his position at the right wing. His last game before the Copa America, he'll probably get subbed off, honestly. I mean, like, just to avoid just any risk. But I think he'll probably get subbed off at half or at the 60th minute mark. Wouldn't doubt it, or like I wouldn't doubt it just for like safety reasons and to protect him, for just in case he gets injured, right? Literally right before the Copa America, like literally right before he has to travel to Argentina. Well, not to Argentina, but with the Argentina squad. So yeah, I think that's the starting 11, 4-3-3 formation. Like always, I don't know. I mean, like a lot of positions are up in the air right now, but I feel like Tata Martino is not going to really make too many changes from last time out. Regardless, I think if what's her face, if St. Louis play like how they've been playing, like last time out when they lost, they played at home to Seattle. They played in a 4-2-3-1 formation, so like a really pretty attacking formation. They're probably going to do that again. They're probably going to keep running that. There's no possible way they change formations, in my opinion. There's no way they switch to like a four. What is the formation that people are playing? Like 4-3-4 or like a 3-4-3, something like that. There's no way. I feel like there's no way they change that. So they're probably going to stick with that 4-2-3-1 formation. I mean, they got Burke in goal. They're going to have Vassilev in that cam position. They're going to have Klaus up top. Yeah, I mean, they have quality players. They have really good players. Whether they're on their game or not is a completely different story. But I think on paper they have the quality, and especially to sneak a draw, or even win the game. So we'll see what happens on Saturday. For my prediction, for my match prediction, I think honestly, Miami should be winning, but I say that every single time. Miami should be winning this game. They should have won the game against Atlanta, but look how that turned out. I think that Miami could be getting the win here. I want to say, just thinking about stats alone, with the amount of shots that St. Louis City take against their opponents, they're bound to score at some point, whether that's one or two. I think they're going to score two. Honestly, I think if everything goes well, honestly, I'm predicting a 2-2 draw. I'm predicting a 2-2 draw, and that's being generous on Miami's half. If that's being generous for Inter Miami, because that's if St. Louis City don't have our attackers on lock. Like that's literally if they don't lock our attackers down and keep them in their back pocket, because they concede the fewest shots on target in the league like this season. So I'm predicting a 2-2 draw. I think they're going to score at least one. And I'm hoping for an Inter Miami win, but I'm trying to be as realistic as I possibly can and be more logical. 2-2 draw, I think is in the books for me. That's just in my gut. And yeah, I'm going to stick by it. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you agree or disagree with anything that I've said? How do you think that Inter Miami will perform without Messi for the duration of the Copa America? Do you think they'll just be losing more than winning? Do you think they won't win any games? Do you think they'll actually be, or they'll shock the haters or prove the haters wrong and have a pretty decent run? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching the Heron's Haven podcast here on the Sofa Soccer channel on YouTube. And I'll see you guys tomorrow night for the post-game reaction. Same time, same place, right here on the Sofa Soccer channel. Vamos Miami. Let's really hope for a win, guys. Let's really, really hope for a win.